Hi there, I'm Jenn Cassetta, your Chief Badassery Officer. If you're feeling drained, hesitant, stuck in self-doubt, or you just have a case of the vlogs, the Art of Badassery podcast is here to help you unleash your mojo once and for all. We'll provide you with tips, techniques, and real-life examples of how you can kick ass in all areas of your life. You'll learn how to flex your mental muscles, rise above fears, and turn setbacks into superpowers. So let's enter the dojo and let's get to work. Hello and welcome to the Art of Badassery podcast. I'm Jenn Cassetta, your Chief Badassery Officer. And today, my friends, it's just you and I. I have a nice solo episode for you because I've been missing you. I've had all these wonderful guests on lately, but I truly love to connect with you one-on-one and wish we could all do it in person. So make sure you get on my email list because I do retreats a couple times a year. Italy retreat is coming up this spring in Tuscany again, Montauk in the fall. And I'm thinking maybe someplace on the West Coast. For all you West Coasters, we can drive there and just have a fun weekend together, becoming black belts in badassery. With that said, today's episode is something that's been on my heart and mind constantly, honestly, for years. It's what I truly wanted to even just write my next book about. And I did. I'm sneaking it in there, but in the context of this, that lately, and maybe even for the years, but truly, at least to me and a lot of people I know, the last 8-9 months, it just feels like the world is on fire. It just feels like there is so much toxicity, divisiveness, natural disasters, political disasters, right? So many terrible things, school shootings going on in this world, in our country, all around the world, threats of war. It doesn't stop. It's like we don't get a break these days. Now, is it that there's more terrible things? Kind of seems like it. And also, I just want to put this out as a reminder for you all, for myself, for everyone, that this gadget here, this phone that we are mostly all tethered to, is serving us more and more divisive topic, inflammatory post, etc. Why? So we will spend more time on these apps, spend more time on the phone, spend more time on Instagram, on TikTok, etc. Why? So the people at the top of these corporations make more money. It's literally that simple. So all of this divisiveness is being planned and planted and inflamed. So big tech and their shareholders get more money in their pockets. What happens to us? Our energy is drained. What happens to us? Our relationships are disintegrating. We're spending more and more time on our phones, less and less time in person, connecting with people. We're getting triggered by all of this news. We're becoming more anxious, more angry, more fearful. We can't let this happen, folks. So I need to remember that I have to take this stand because my whole mission is to help people feel more strong, more safe, right? More safe in a world that feels more fearful every day and more powerful from the inside out. So I'm doing that in a new book. Friends, I sold my new book. I haven't announced it publicly yet because I'm still waiting to sign the contract. But I swear that by the time that this podcast airs, the ink will be dry. So I'm putting that out there now. Why am I sharing that? Because like I said, I wanted to write a book just about manifestation. Yet I needed to meet the moment. The book is about helping us stay sturdy and grounded, protecting our peace and our power, right? Our power to manifest and create a life that we really want to live in and a world that we want to live in while the world is on fire. or not. Because we can't just sit here and be paralyzed by it all. We have to keep moving. We have to keep seeking out joy. I truly believe we were not meant to be put on this world just to suffer with our thoughts, not be happy, to fight with each other. No, it's not what we're here for. We're here to have joy, to seek it out, to truly live our lives from that place and then spread it. Because when you show up and you are complete, you are whole, you are feeling joy, you are radiating joy, that energy spreads like a ripple effect, right? To everybody in your path, everybody that lives in your house, your building, everybody you pass when you're commuting on the subway, on the streets, in your office, and then anything that you write on the internet. So what we're going to do today is go through a quick 5-step framework that I work with my clients on. So you're getting a sneak peek. You can dive deeper into this if you have some time and a journal and a pen. As I walk through it, you can do it for yourself. But truly think about it as something that you would do over months, years, and even a lifetime. It's something that is now a practice of mine for my life and not just something I do once a year. Make sense? With that said, do you ever wonder why some people attract everything that they want in life, right? You watch them and they just get the job that they were really hoping for, or have the perfect friends and circumstances show up and opportunities open up for them. And you sit there wondering, what is it about that person? Why do they get all the opportunities, etc.? Is it magic? Yes and no. It's definitely not magic. It's that those people are literally attracting, right? They're attracting what they want in life because they know what they want. See, we attract things every single day in our lives, but most of it is unconscious. Most of it is unintentional. And a lot of times we're repelling things that we actually want by what we're putting out in the world. Step 1 in becoming a magnet for the life that you want, right, is knowing what the life is. Right? It's like knowing your vision. What are you creating for yourself? What do you want to create for yourself? It shocks me how many times I find out that people have never really done that. They've never given themselves the space, the gift truly of sitting down and visualizing and writing down and really figuring out what they want. Maybe they know one thing like, oh, I want that job, I want that salary, or I want more money, or I want a family one day, I want to be in a loving marriage, etc. But really designing the whole pie. And when I say whole pie, like the wheel of life, right? Which has all the different spokes on it representing different areas of your life, your health, your wealth, your finances, your career, your spirituality, practice, like all of the things. This is a plug for my January workshop because this is what we do in my January workshop. We get your vision really clear. But first, I walk attendees through this process of visualizing yourself 3 years into the future. Why 3 years? I think it's a beautiful timeline where it gives you some space to dream really big, but also it's not too far in the future, like 5, 10 years where you can't even get there. You can't even, whoa, 10 years from now, especially if you've been caught up in the algorithm where you think the world is on fire and ending anytime soon. You're like, 10 years from now, I won't even be here 10 years from now. But 3 years is pretty easy to do. 1 year is too short of a timeline. Why? Because most people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 3. That's why I do 3 years into the future. And I know how much it's helped me because I was one of those people that always did my year goals. I only set goals for 1 year at a time. And when you're doing that, you tend to edit yourself. For example, I knew that I wanted to travel more, but where exactly did I want to go? I would love to go on a hiking trip in the Dolomite Mountains in Italy. So if I was just doing a 1 year goal setting, I probably would have left that off. And this was back in 2021. I would have left that off because I was just looking at my current circumstance. So if you're just looking from a lens of logistics and reality, what reality was showing me was not really in alignment with what I wanted to create. But when I allowed myself that 3 years, then I said, oh gosh, so many things can happen in 3 years. I can accomplish so much in 3 years. I can have more money. I can have time to spend, etc. No problem. So I put it in my 3-year vision, and then I put it on my vision board. So part of the workshop that we do, like I said, after I walk you through this entire visualization process where we visualize your life 3 years from now, including all of the things you've done in the last 3 years, all of the accomplishments, every place you've visited, all of it. Then we make a digital representation of it. So that's actually step 2, is once you get really clear on your vision, right? And it's like a compass now, you then need a digital representation of that. So it can be a vision board, it can be written goals, it could be a thing that you write out on one sheet of paper. You need to figure out what's going to work for you, but I will plug the digital vision board because I know how powerful it is. We create them in Canva. It's on my phone screen, it's on my laptop screen. And think about how many times a day you pick up your phone or are on your computer and see your screensaver. It's hundreds, probably, at least 100 times. So imagine feeding your subconscious mind at least 100 times of your vision. So it becomes very clear. There's a part of the brain called the RAS, or reticular activating system. And what its function is remind you what you say is important, and also to act as a filter. Our brain's taken so much information daily that not all of it gets to us, right? Because it's actually like blocking things that aren't important, right? It's filtering out a lot of those things, and it's bringing to the forefront things that you told it is important. So whether those things are bad, you're going to see more of it. If they're good and positive, you're going to see more of it. If they're things that you want in your future, you're going to see more of it. If you told it that you want a white Audi A3, you're going to see more of them on the road. They're not more of them just because you did that. You're just filtering them out and seeing them more. So you can see how really powerful a vision board, whether it be digital or sitting in the corner of your room, I have both, you can see how powerful tools they can really be. That year that I put the Dolomite Mountains hiking trip, I put a picture of the Dolomite Mountains on my vision board, not thinking that it would happen anytime soon. What actually happened about 4 months later, I got an email, a mass email, from a friend who was leading, she was a new friend too, leading a hiking trip in the Dolomite Mountains. Now, if I had just been doing my 1-year goals, that wouldn't have been on my 1-year goals. But because I had this vision, my 3-year vision, it was there. And something said to me, like, maybe let me dig in a little bit more. Even though logically my brain was saying, you don't have the money, you don't have the time, it's unrealistic. You just had a hip replacement surgery. What are you thinking? You're going to hike 40 miles in the Dolomite Mountains with a metal hip? That's ridiculous. And there was the other little voice in my head that said, wouldn't that kind of be cool? What if that was possible? I emailed my friend Joni, and even though it said sold out on her website, and I said, keep me in mind if you do it next year. She said, let me see if I can get you in. The next thing I was in, I used my miles. I had money saved over here that I used for that. Like it all worked out. And I finished a 40-mile hike on the 1-year anniversary of my hip replacement surgery, feeling strong, feeling confident, and truly feeling super powerful because I know I created that. So when you, again, put things on this 3-year vision, sometimes things will happen sooner than you thought, and Sometimes things might be on there for longer than 3 years, and that's okay too, right? This is life, we're playing a game, and eventually you will make those things happen. Sometimes in ways, most likely in ways that are even better than you could have imagined with your just logical thinking. Step 3 is we need to identify misalignments in your life. What does that mean? Ask yourself where your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your feelings contradict with your vision. Now, a simple way to go about starting that process, because this is a really, like I said, it's a long practice. It's a practice that's part of my life now. It's not just something I sit down and do one time. When I'm working with clients, it's over 6 months we're working on this with the intent that it is also becomes a practice for them to keep doing within their life as well. Take an area of your life right now where there's a big mismatch. The easiest place to look is an area of your life where you are just so far away from your goals that either you've given up on them or you don't even think it's possible anymore. Okay. So right there alone would be a great place to start because there's probably lots of misalignments going on in your thoughts, in your speech, in your actions, in your habits, etc. Which brings me back to my favorite quote, and I'm going to say it often. I say it at every keynote because it's that important. It's going in my new book. It was in my old book. Thanks to Lao Tzu. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. And watch your character. It eventually becomes your destiny. Right? So your thoughts are becoming your future. You're constantly creating your future. Even now, right now, as you're listening to this in the car, on your walk, doing your laundry, you are creating your future by what you're thinking. And then, right, eventually, if you have the same thoughts over and over again, it's going to come out into words. Your thoughts get filtered out. So again, if they're negative, it's going to be a whole lot more negative speech. So think about that right there, because this is where I have made a huge difference in my life just over the last few years. I've made a huge difference in my career and my wealth because of this particular thing. And I'm sharing this because it's something that I have been working on for so many years. If you know me for 25 years, I've been listening to Tony Robbins, going to all these seminars, doing all the things. And yes, I have made great strides, right? I'll give myself a little bit of credit, but there was a big gap from what I set as goals and what was reality. That gap is starting to close more and more rapidly. More opportunities are opening up to me as I put this work into practice. And I noticed myself that as much as I knew about self-talk, as much as I knew about the power of words, I still let things slip out of my mouth. I still use self-deprecating language when it came to my wealth or my career. When people would say to me like, wow, Jenn, you've done such great work on your speaking career is really taking off. I would never just say thanks. I would say, yeah, but, right? Fill in the blank. Yeah, but my bank account doesn't show that. Yeah, but I don't have enough things on the book. Yeah, but it's been a really slow year. Whatever it was, I allowed those things to come out of my mouth constantly. And even if I had the thought, you amplify your thoughts. You amplify the energy behind the thoughts when you let them come out into the world. Your words create your world. So where in your life right now are you misaligned with your future self? Let's just say, again, let's use an example right now with health. Since I was a health coach for so long, I saw this so often with folks. They wanted to be fit, strong, healthy, and what they thought, what they spoke, and what they did, especially their actions, did not align with that future. So now what? Okay, so you've identified those areas. I'm sure you've identified patterns of speech that you do, self-deprecating things that you say about yourself, about your body, about your health, about your wealth, about your career, about your relationships, all of it. Now, what do? Step 4 is we need to cancel them. Okay. We need to stop repelling what we want. So what can you do? Notice the thought. Just tune in. Just tune in to your inner dialogue. Be quiet. Listen to what's coming up for you. What's coming up for you right now as you're listening to this? Are you being your best self? Are you promoting yourself? Are you cheering yourself on? Or are you criticizing yourself? Are you being negative? Are you spewing negativity out into the world? Nobody wants that, right? People don't want to be around the person that's always self-deprecating, always putting themselves down. People attract their vibe, right? So if you want to truly create a life for yourself where you're surrounded by high vibe, high frequency people, opportunities, situations, and things, then you're going to have to put that out in the world. So you have to generate that energy first, and you have to stop and block the inner critic, the inner bully, the self-saboteur. So what I'm writing about now is inside blocks, right? In my last book, we had soft blocks and hard blocks. Still very important. Hey, look, it's very important to walk away from dangerous situations. It's very important to say no to things that you don't want. And sometimes those things are your own, right? Beliefs, your own habits, your own words, etc. So we're doing internal blocks first, shutting down those thoughts. Recognize the thought, hear it, and say, cancel, cancel. What I like to say is, Jen, stop it. Jen, stop. And instead, I'll speak to myself in a way like, Jen, you got this. Jen, you are putting in the work. Jen, you are a high vibe being. Like, I talk to myself in a way that I would want a coach to lift me up, that I would want a loved one to speak to me in a way, because I am the loved one, right? I love myself. Okay. So I know that's a lot of work, and that's why I'm just giving this framework very quickly. But step 5 is then, of course, we have to take mini actions towards our dream. So mini actions towards the life of your dreams could really be anything that gets you to that state that you're looking at, that you want. Back to that 3-year vision, when we map it all out, what I like to ask you is like, how are you feeling right now in this 3-year version of yourself? What's the feelings that really come to mind? Okay. And everyone has different answers for themselves, but is it satisfied? Is it confident? Is it abundant? Is it love? Is it connectedness? What are those things? What are those feelings that you really feel when you've done the work and you've accomplished what you've accomplished in the last 3 years? When you've gone on the trips that you've wanted, that, when you've treated your kids to a big vacation, when you've done all these things that you really know will bring you joy, that will bring you peace, that will bring you more powerful feelings. When you have those feelings, you get to generate them on a daily basis. So for example, if I want to feel more abundant in 3 years, then each little day I can do something that makes me feel abundant. When I'm feeling a real lack of abundance, I'll do something extra. Like I'll make a donation to Doctors Without Borders or World Central Kitchen. Even if it's $10, $20, what it does is it's telling my brain that I am abundant. I have enough to share. I can do this. What can you give if you're feeling lack? What can you give a compliment even? Those are free. So the actions don't always have to be these huge, overwhelming tasks that don't feel good. You want to pick tasks that feel good in the moment, that when you do them, you're like, oh, yes, I feel the abundance, or I feel the confidence, or I feel the health and the strength, right? If health is your goal and you have this vision of this really healthy, strong body 3 years from now, then each day you can be doing something. It doesn't have to be going to the gym for 90 minutes every single day. It could be drinking an extra glass of water. It could be taking the supplements that you keep putting off. It could be going on an extra walk in the afternoon after your lunch break. Just little things like that every single day that make you feel the feeling that you want to feel in 3 years. You're generating the feeling now. So what happens? When you start to feel that way, you are elevating your frequency, you're elevating your vibration, and now you start to become a match, a vibrational match. Let's get a little here, a frequency match for opportunities, people, right? Things that now you start attracting into your life versus repelling. Telling you this stuff works. Okay? Truly, those are just 5 quick steps that you can start to think about how you can start implementing them in your life and practicing them over and over, because you won't get it right every day. Trust me, I still don't. But I can catch myself quicker. I can shut down that behavior much quicker. I can shut off those thoughts, and I can go and do something every single day that makes me feel abundant, confident, loving, right? Kind, generous, all of these beautiful things that I want to feel all the time. So the 5 steps are, to recap, step 1, get clear on what you want. What do you want to be, do, and have 3 years from now? Step 2, make yourself a visual anchor, right? A visual representation of what that life looks like, feels, sees like, etc. Step 3, identify your misalignments. Where is the gap so large between what you want and what you actually have? And then see where your thoughts, words, actions, and feelings contradict that. Step 4, cancel the thoughts, cancel the actions, cancel the words, right? Be really careful about what you say and do on a daily basis and what you're putting out into the world. Step 5, mini actions towards your dreams. Little baby steps. And I'm telling you, baby steps consistently over time, transformational, right? Transformational. I promise you this works. Okay. I invite you to DM me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or email me what you're working on. Where do you see the biggest misalignment in your life? And what do you want to create for your life instead? Also, a reminder to get on my email list. You can go to pages.jennifercassetta.com/newsletter, or just go to my website, jennifercassetta.com. Right on the front page, you can add your email and name, and you will be automatically sent all the updates when these podcasts come out, but also for the January workshop about creating your future life. I really highly suggest it. If you do anything in the beginning of the year, if you have any cool practice, this is one to do for sure. Join me. It's a lot of fun and it works. I have lots and lots of other stories besides the hiking stories that I can share with you. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking this on. You're creating, if you're listening to this, I know that you're like me. You are a seeker and you want just better things, not just for yourself, but for the entire world. So thanks for being here with that mission. And I'll see you next time on the Art of Badassery podcast.